We have thingies.
Thank you for letting the world know we have thingies.
I couldn't resist.
Welcome aboard, and thank you for tuning in to the Heavy Metal Truckers. We are your hosts. I am Pincushion, and this is Doppler. So, how do you go about this? So, the original video of this, we ended up taking down because there was many disgruntled commenters, and understandable. The Lovebites is a incredibly well-known group with a very loyal fan base.
That's putting it nicely.
Yeah. As one commenter said, that they have a very loyal fan base, but can be rabid at times, which I will have to agree with. However,
we found that out firsthand.
yeah, which I'm actually very glad that they have that kind of fan base, because that just means that group has such loyal fans to carry them through their career, which is an awesome thing. However, you guys might need to also keep in mind that you want to think about how you approach someone that maybe
Disagrees with you.
Because whilst we can debate what our favorite bands are, what we like about them, what we may not like about stuff that we don't like, going and, to quote the other commenter, going rabid is one surefire way to make someone not even want to listen to the group anymore.
Yeah, it turns people off.
Yeah, it turns people off and will turn people away from potentially giving that group a chance, which they could be very good, but because of the actions of some of the fans may completely turn that around. So just I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just saying bear this in mind.
I also want to point out that keep in mind that the sound mixers and engineers that do the album are not the same people who are the sound engineers and mixers at the live shows. They're different people.
However, we took the original video down because we took a moment to have an internal discussion and see if this was a chance maybe to progress where we are from what we were doing. And I even discussed with him, there are some albums that listening to it on like just some kind of Bluetooth speaker or stereo is not going to get the full effect. Take Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album, for instance. That is an album that, to really grasp the full concept of it, you have to listen to it on headphones. And so I began thinking that maybe this is one of those.
Another perfect example was we just did the album review for Amaranth, and we were talking about Outer Dimensions. When we listened to it here, which we didn't care for it at all, we were listening to it on Megatron. When we listened to the album, we were listening to it on a headset. And
You were.
Oh, you didn't listen to it on a headset?
No, I just been sticking.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
And it sounded different. I still didn't love the song, but it sounded different, and you could hear a lot more, and it sounded a little bit better.
Yeah.
I you know.
Yeah. So I mean, and I understand that there's two sides of this coin. So as far as a mixing engineer, they make material sound good across all media platforms. However, there is also the caveat to that most people are listening to stuff either in their car, on little earbuds or headphones, home stereo systems, whatever the case may be. So they do have to cater more towards what's going to really bring out the best within those media outlets, or those outlets, I'll say. So, given that, we are going to redo...
We have things now!
Yes, now you can say it. We are going to redo listening to Lovebites Judgment Day with some headphones.
Yeah, we're going to redo the Judgment Day live, and we also have two other Lovebites songs, since people were like, well, if you weren't a huge fan of that one, try these two because they sound different or whatever. So we'll try them as well,
Yeah,
and we'll let you know.
We'll see how this goes.
Now, I will say, if we still feel the same way, we're not going to sugarcoat it. We will
No.
still say that we didn't care for whatever.
Yeah.
But we're giving it the best chance we can.
Yep. And we've never done this before, so bear with us.
That's weird. I can hear us in the microphones.
Yeah.
Not the microphones, the headsets.
Yeah, I know you're going to be able to,
Yeah,
because
that's weird.
yeah.
It's not distracting, but it's
Yeah,
weird.
you'll get used to it.
I thought you had this ready already.
No. I'm just thinking, I can hear myself. It's weird. Welcome to the world of tracking. Granted, I typically would have direct monitor on to where I could listen better.
Yeah. You almost forgot again.
Shut up.
All right, Mr. Sound Mixer.
You don't want to go first on this one, or you want me to go ahead?
I'll let you go first, because you're the Sound Mixer guy.
Okay, so I would like to first start off by giving a very genuine apology. I should have been using headphones for this because there was a lot that I did not hear.
It definitely makes a big difference. I'm not gonna lie, it really did.
No, you don't understand from what I was coming from. So the guitars were definitely more noticeable and hearable in the sense that I was able to make out what was going on.
Yeah, it didn't sound as muddy.
And now I will say, which I know the reason for this, depending on if this was the first track they played or not. The drums were quite loud at the beginning, but they immediately after that intense intro, they dropped down. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that was the first track they played and they were getting the sound just having to get it correct within the first like 3 seconds. Because having come from doing live sound previously, I now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do it for long just because of there was ordeals beyond my control that I wasn't able to do it for long. That is a real thing of things will be off somewhere, and within a matter of milliseconds to seconds, you have to make that adjustment and balance it all in a flash. So to the engineer that was able to make that adjustment that quickly and balance everything out, job well done. I will also say that overall that mix was damn well balanced, like even with the guitars to the vocals and the bass. It was just the drums that were hair loud, but as soon as that intro intensity kicked, it just dropped down, and it was beautifully balanced. And the guitars were doing very nicely. I'm like, okay,
The guitars maybe could have been a hair higher for me in the mix, but you could definitely hear them way clearer than what we could hear before. Like, I could actually really understand what they were
I wouldn't
playing.
have wanted them higher, because then that would have drowned out the bass.
I don't know if it would have for me,
It
because I can still clearly hear the bass.
Yeah, for me, I think they were at a good volume. Now, at first I'm like, okay, guitar stuff on the left, she's very intriguing. And then all of a sudden, as soon as she did that first pinch harmonic, I'm like, she did that exactly the way Mark Morton from Lamb of God does his. And I started listening more, I'm like, she reminds me a lot of Mark. And so I started listening to the rhythm, and just like in Lamb of God, they were just playing off of each other like that. And
A lot of times when you have two guitars, they'll do that.
yeah,
It's
and
not that
so
uncommon.
now when it came the vocals were very good, and I think I even said
Yeah,
that.
we said that before.
Yeah. Now this time I was mainly listening to the instrumentals, even though the vocals were doing solid. I was mainly curious whenever it came to that solo. I'm like, am I gonna say the same thing? Beyond a shadow of doubt, I was completely missing the point of it.
Like, I will say, listen to headphones, the guitar solo fit the song better than it did the first time.
Did you hear what they were doing though? Because I haven't personally heard that before.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
She was doing the lead. She
Yeah.
was doing the rhythm of the lead. They swapped. She did the lead. She did the rhythm of her, and they would swap out. And I'm like, that is intriguing. And because we were using that speaker, I couldn't actually hear what was going on.
Yeah, no, you couldn't.
But they were in such goddamn sync. Like, of course, I could hear this very minor like misses that they were doing, but they were as fast as they were going and trying to be in sync with each other. Like, you can write that off beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like that's that's a humanistic aspect.
Like I said, listening to it fit the song better than it did the first time I listened to it. Like the rhythm and everything. Now for me, it was still too long, personally. But that's an ADD thing, ADHD thing. Like, it's hard for me to stay in something.
So for that,
long.
I can understand. But
You know,
for someone like me, like I was getting very intrigued by it because I heard them playing off of each other, and then they were just hyping up the crowd with that solo, but they were doing it in a way that once they reach that breaking point, it's like, okay, they know where to stop and just go back down. Because if they had gone any faster, then I think it would have been a bit much. But they, like, it was the actual like trade-off that they were doing that was so intriguing to me.
Yeah. And overall, like it sounded better to me. And like I said, it fits. Like when I first listened to it, when I started going back and forth, I guess because of that speaker, it got a little muddied to where it didn't feel like it fit anymore. This time, now that you could actually hear everything clearly, you could hear like what they were playing, and the melodies did fit the song.
Right.
Like for me, just again, this could just be because I have ADHD. It still went on.
Yeah.
Longer than I would have liked.
Well, part of that is, even though I believe that Metatron is a stereo speaker, meaning just it has two drivers left and right, because you won't be able to hear properly the stereo imaging because you'd have to be like within 2 inches of it. Like, from how far away you are, you're hearing it in mono.
Yeah.
And of course, like, that's one thing that beginning engineers and amateur engineers, including myself whenever I started out, and again, I'm not a professional, I don't get paid to do any mixing, it's a hobby for me, and I got really into it.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that new mixers miss, is whenever they think their mix sounds great, they don't flip it to mono midway to see how is this going to sound as if it's coming off a phone, because a phone is going to, like, even though they're stereo speakers, you're going to hear it mostly mono because of the frequency separation. It just isn't there, and that's whenever engineers have to do their little tweaks here and there to kind of simulate separation. But so yeah, with what they were doing and how close those frequencies were with the rhythm and lead, and then trading off, there's no wonder we couldn't hear it, because just it was that close together. And but yeah, actually being able to hear it, the proper like stereo imaging, wow, that was solid. So again, I do apologize for
Or not ignorance, but like
negligence of understanding, or negligence of
and working off of the subpar
because
quality that we had.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said in my my announcement video, or the update video, like, I try and do this with ease of setup. However, I don't want that to sacrifice quality, and that's what we discovered that was going on. So we have decided to switch over to this, and I think we're going to keep it this way for you guys.
Anytime we do a full song reaction, we'll use these from now on.
Yeah, because I mean, not only does it, it's way better for us, because then we'll actually be able to get accurate responses to stuff.
Now, as for the song itself, ignoring everything that we just talked about, reviewing the song itself, even when we hosted it the first time, I actually enjoyed the song itself. I've always thought it was a good, solid power metal song. Like, it hits in all the right areas that you look for a power metal song. It has a great rhythm to it. You know, I liked the feel of the song. Her vocals fit it phenomenally, and like we said before, you can tell when she sings, she knows the limits of her voice.
Correct.
And she stays within it, which I appreciate greatly.
Oh yes.
And and by doing that, it gives her voice more power too, and she sounds great. Like for the song itself, I have no complaints. Like out of a 10, I'd give the song a solid 9 out of 10. Like it's a great power metal song. Like I like lyrically, everything about it, song structure is exactly what you would look for within power metal.
Now again, and we probably both, and anyone that like just has seen us recently probably understands that I may not be the biggest fan of power metal. I don't go seeking it out, but I'll listen to it. And what I enjoy mostly about them is the fact that, at least for this track, the instrumentals were almost more along the side of groove metal, and I greatly enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I love the intro and outro to the songs too. Those were excellent. Anything else about this song?
No, aside from, wow, were we mistaken?
All right, so on the internet review, we had 2 people. Actually, we had more than 2, but these are the 2 that stuck out to me that recommended some other songs, since there were some things we didn't like about that one, at least in the initial review, that they wanted us to check out that feel like would fit us better. So we will do those 2 along with this one in this video. So yeah, Frozen Serenade. Even though the video's been posted for a while, the claim was released on the Judas Priest Crown of Thorns video. Just got the email about it.
Thank you, YouTube.
Now the video's been out for like a month. Alright. So yeah, so Frozen Serenade. Now, they didn't say if they wanted us to do it live or not, so just we can do it live if you want.
There doesn't seem to be a version that's not live, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Okay.
I want you to look me straight in the face and tell me you weren't getting any Maiden vibes from that.
Yeah, actually, I was. I thought you were going to say that I didn't start tearing up. I was like, unfortunately, no, but I can see why some people might.
It's that fucking classical, that classical guitar.
It was funny because earlier in the song, I saw that guitar sitting over there on the stand. I'm like, that's weird, okay. And then she went over and played. I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. Actually, that whole part in the middle was one of the best parts because I loved how the one, I think it was the other guitarist, sat down at the piano and started playing the piano. The other guitarist went over to the acoustic guitar, and then the other one was up, doing like these theatrical dance moves and all with whatever that was falling from the ceiling. I don't know if it was bubbles or what it was, but something.
Honestly, I was having difficulty watching because I was just focusing on what I was hearing.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool that they did that. Added some theatrics. So, because up to that point, like I was like, even though the song wasn't super energetic, it had a very almost melancholy feel to it. But I was like, I wish they would move around more because they were just kind of standing there, and then they did that, and brought some theatrics to it. I was like, yeah, that's what I was just, So I love that they did that. And I love the fact that she used the whole stage. She went up, around, back behind the drummer, came around. That was cool.
You don't see that much anymore.
Not really, no. So that was a great use of stage. The song itself was fantastic. Like the song, like they did a great job of composing it. Like I was sitting there thinking, like, this is top tier composition. It really is. It just, like, I can't The guitar solos weren't as long. For the most part, they fit the song. There was a couple points at one point in the solo, I felt like it became a little too busy for the style of song it was, but it wasn't as long. So for somebody like me with ADHD, I held on to it. And I don't know. I enjoyed the solo more than I did on the first song. And just I don't know. Like I can't really say anything negative. Like it was it was a great song.
Mm-hmm. So going into this, like it started off just kind of just straightforward, and it wasn't like, I guess I could say kind of what you said. It wasn't high energy, but it was just almost, I don't know the best way to describe this. It was just, like I said, just straightforward, and by far, this is my absolute favorite track from them. By far.
Just 2 songs we've listened to.
Well, because, like...
I mean, I would agree with that. I like, as much as I love Judgment Day, I enjoyed this.
Because I'm listening to this, and I'm like, who have I heard that sounds similar to this? Because there was so many parallels, and I'm thinking, holy shit, this sounds like Iron Maiden. And just, it was primarily the rhythms that would do it, but then just one of the absolute things I love about classic metal is that whenever they do leads, they're, I've used the term, they're not trying to be flashy, they're just in the groove, doing what they need to fit it, and they're just almost dwelling on the emotion that's in it. And this has had that.
Yeah, it did. This song had a lot of emotion in it. Yeah, it did.
And
that's
then,
why I said I could see why people might tear up during.
And then these motherfuckers had the audacity to pull out that acoustic and go classical on it and just pull on my every being.
Yep. That was the best part of the song.
Like, fuck, man. Yeah. You gotta warn someone before you pull off that kind of thing. But I mean, even coming back from that, it was because of having heard Judgment Day. Like, not that I was afraid they were just gonna go high intensity, but I didn't know how it was gonna come back. But then when they came back, it was just strong and strong but yet not overwhelming, and it was able to just get back into the groove and pulled back into that emotion, and so well executed.
Very well executed. Like I really can't say anything bad about it at all. That was just a damn good song all around.
That was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you to the guy.
It kind of gave me almost like the Extra Pan song vibe that we listened to. Like I could feel like it kind of. I felt some similarities there too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot that one.
Good job, sir. All right, well, the last song's got something to live up to here. Break the Wall. And they want that one live.
Alrighty then.
If anybody out there could tell us, how did they get their name? Completely different feel from the first two.
At this moment, the gods of thrash smile upon you.
That must be the old bassist.
What?
People can tell us, but that must be the old bassist, because I know they have a new bassist now. Like 3 years ago, somewhere around there, they changed bassist. They got a new one. Huh. They actually had like a whole audition for it. It's freaking. But anyway. very different songs.
Don't make me choose.
If I had to choose a favorite, I still think a Frozen Serenade would probably be my favorite. That being said, there was a lot of things they did in this song that I really liked. The biggest was, even though the solos were long, the way they broke them up, it almost made it feel like 3 different solos. Which, for me, as a person with ADD, it made a huge difference compared to like Judgment Day, where it's just this big long, them going back and forth. And this was definitely a song that called for a flashier solo, so it absolutely fit completely. And I like how with the other one solo, they slowed the song down, and her solo slowed down compared to the other one. I thought that was pretty cool. I can't really say a whole lot negative about this one either. I loved, after they came out of the solos, that guitar riff was amazing. I absolutely loved that guitar riff they had when they came out of the solos. Bringing the other ones on and doing that, whatever, I don't know what they were saying, but that shout, them all together almost made it sound like a harsh vocal.
Group vocal.
Yeah, but the way that they did it loud and they shouted, it almost gave it like a little bit of a harshness to it, which was kind of cool.
The mics may or may not have been clipping.
Who knows? It still sounded cool.
Yeah.
I can't. Drummer was killing it on this one too. I don't know. Like the guys who recommend, or gals, whoever, who recommended these to us, great recommendations, because they were literally all 3 were very. You got to see 3 distinct sides to them, and again, they are even with this one, great composition. Like when they sit down to compose a song or write something, you can tell they know what they're doing. Like they do an absolute fantastic job.
For this one at the beginning, if I didn't know any better, I would have said Slayer possessed them. and not because it's their most well known, or not by any means, just I know that track. So much of it sounded like Raining Blood to me.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Well, because did you not hear like da 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 da?
Oh shit!
And just how that was, how they were playing that, I'm like, this reminds me a lot of it. And then the one on the right, whenever they slowed down and she did that riff, that was absolute arch enemy.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Just like Jeff Loomis all the way. And then they just...
Unfortunately, we don't know their names. I think the vocalist was Asami or something like that. I think it was ASAMI or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't know. I don't remember the names of anybody else.
I don't know, but goddamn.
Yeah, they're insanely talented. They're actually probably one of the more, from a talent level, one of the more talented groups we've seen. When you take everything into consideration.
Just goddamn. Don't know how to put into words. That was just some solid thrash with elements of power thrown in.
Yeah, they definitely mixed a lot into that.
And it just worked beyond all measures.
Yeah, it did. It really did. I'm not the biggest thrash fan.
Oh, and I know you're not, but you're probably over here watching me like he is trying to contain himself so badly.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest thrash fan. I mean, I don't hate it by any means, but it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't mind songs that have thrash elements to it, like this one did, because I wouldn't call this a full-on thrash metal song.
No,
it absolutely had thrash elements.
It had serious fundamentals of thrash.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only thing I would say that I wish it had, and this is just the most minor gripe, and it's just my own personal taste. If they had the guitars, it had just a hair more distortion, but that's also because I'm a distortion junkie.
I think that's where the power metal comes, because power metal doesn't use a lot of distortion.
Yeah, and I
mean, sometimes, but not really.
Yeah, but like as it is, fucking phenomenal. But
now I will say, to me, maybe it's just me, I felt like when they came back after the guitar solos, I felt like there was some distortion in the guitars.
Yeah, it did. I mean, granted, it could have been like a great contrast.
It could have been.
a
That's
great
very
contrast.
True.
So
it could have been the contrast from what was going on before.
Yeah, because I mean that was it was a cleaner, more like low mid focused, and which it absolutely needed.
Yeah.
And then whenever they came back, just to pummel your fucking face again.
Yeah.
Just fuck. Again, you gotta warn a guy before you pull some shit like that. Because I feel like the question's gonna be asked. Or the comment's gonna be made. Am I a fan of them? No. Am I seriously enjoying everything they do? Without a doubt. If they came up and a new track from them came about, would I click on it? In a heartbeat. I just can't say I'm a fan yet.
Yeah, I think that's my thing. Like, I mean, we've heard 3 songs.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I've heard 4 because I've heard I forget something World. People know changed the word. I don't remember. And it that song was more in line with Judgment Day, like a straight through and through power metal.
Yeah, and I was about to say you're probably not surprised at all that Judgment Day is at this point my least favorite. But
yeah,
that even then it's still extremely well done.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd go to the point of saying that I'm a fan, but the potential is there.
Right.
Because, like I said, there is zero doubt that they are insanely talented, like legit.
I mean, God, I can hear it. It's just
and I like I said, I don't mean that just in terms of their ability to play their instruments. Like I said, their song composure, everything is like
I was about to say,
legit top notch.
People can shred with the best of them, but
Yeah.
if you have no idea how to structure a composition,
Yeah.
it's just gonna fall to fucking pieces.
Extremely talented in that regard, and so like the potential for me to become a legit fan is there. I need to hear more.
We do need to hear more because so far they are much like most Japanese groups in that they have so much deviation in their material.
Yeah, that's true with so many
yeah,
these
so
bands.
it's
Which is one of the reasons why I think Japanese metal right now is kind of leading the way, because of that, and they're afraid to go places other people aren't.
guys, thank you for giving these recommendations.
100%, yeah.
Again, as I said before, we want to apologize for not using the proper equipment to listen to them the way they should be. And now that we have, we can say that
That we're glad we did.
yeah, we're glad we did, and we have a way better understanding of what they are.
Yeah,
and we
having those 3 different songs that sounded 3 different was big too.
yeah. So, yeah, we will end it on that. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully you look forward to more, because there's going to be more where we're actually hearing stuff that we should be.
Yeah, and like I said, any full song reviews, reactions, whatever reviews, we'll be using headsets from now on, because it made a huge difference.
Shit,
for
they
sure.
might have actually got reactions out of me.
Yeah,
this time. I mean, the whole "I'm not crying, you're crying."
Yeah.
Damn, the fucking classical guitar. Goddamn. Anyways, as always, guys, keep rolling heavy.